Greetings, class, and welcome to Horror 101. Like always, I am your humble teacher and guide, Professor Macabro. Well, class, today I have a very special video for you, for this will be the first in a series of videos that I like to call Horror Versus, where I will compare two movies and determine which one is the best. I hope you enjoy this. Now, as you all know, because you follow my channel and you are awesome, I don't like remakes. What is the point of remaking something that is already a classic? I kind of would understand if you are a fan of the original movie and that inspired you to become a director, and you're like, I want to pay tribute or a homage to that movie that inspired me. I want to update it with new fangled technology and introduce it to a new audience so they in turn can watch the original. That kind of remake is passable. You're not, just ripping off the original movie as a cash cow. You're paying tribute to it. That kind of remake, when done well, is pretty awesome. But of course, you have your remakes, the ones that I hate with fiery passion, that just milk the name. And worst case scenario, they just remake the whole movie frame by frame, which is a total waste of time. Or just take the original concept and just piss on it. Like, oh, you remember that awesome movie, that classic movie that everyone likes? Well, it was garbage, and this is why. And they just make fun of the original movie, or just put in some god-awful special effects, or hire some god-awful actors, and just ruin it. So whenever you mention the name of the movie, they're like, oh, that god-awful movie, that's horrible. And they don't realize that it's based on a classic. So, the purpose of this movie, of this video series that I will do, is to showcase original movie versus remake. And for this time around, I will start with a comparison of two movies that are actually good. Yes, the remake is on par, in my humble opinion, with the original. And that is what we'll do. So first, I want to share my thoughts on the original The Blob, released in 1958, starring Steve McQueen. Yes, this movie is a lot of fun. It is a perfect example of sci-fi horror from the 50s. Hard to believe this movie is this old. It came out in 58, and we're in 2018 at the point of this recording, so it's a good chunk since the movie came out. I am pretty sure that everyone involved in the movie has, unfortunately, passed away. The only thing that survives from the movie is the titular slob monster itself, the Blob. Now, what this movie is about, it starts with Steve McQueen taking his lady love up to, Date's Cavern or something like that, and they are talking, and which is very, very good. I like this scene quite a bit. And they are talking as they see a falling star. The falling star crashes to the earth, and you have some video shit. And of course, as it tends to be the case, you have this old man living in, it's either an old man or a hillbilly, that goes like, oh, what was that? Oh, look at that meteor shit. I better poke it with a stick. As you do. And of course, he pokes it, it opens up, in a very, very cool kind of xenomorph kind of thing, like, and pokes it with a stick, and encounters this viscous, gooey substance. And he's like, ew, this sure is kind of weird. And then the thing latches onto his hand, and he's like, I can't get it off, please get off my hand, and, he starts screaming like a madman. Now, by this point, Steve McQueen wants to, curious teenager that he is, even though when he recorded this, he was like almost in his 20s, goes to the spot and wants to look at the meteor, but he encounters the old man. And he's like, "Oh, help me, I have this thing that's, hurt." So they take him to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Oh, yes, I can't rightly say that. I've never seen anything like that. You should go. You should go." And the blob creature starts eating away at the old man's flesh until it completely dissolves him. And that's the start of your movie. The viscous blob starts eating people whole, and nothing kills it. The doctor's like, nurse, throw acid at it. It'll dissolve it, and throws acid, and it doesn't do jack shit to the blob. And it starts eating the nurse, and then it eats the doctor, and then it eats a mechanic. And as it's eating, it's kind of tainted with red blood, and it gets bigger and bigger. And of course, Steve McQueen, in these type of movies, knows about the monster and tries to warn people, like, "For the love of God, people, I've seen a monster!" But no one believes him, as it was the stereotype of the day. No one believes him, and the body count just keeps rising, and the blob creature just keeps getting bigger. But the thing I enjoy about this movie is the special effects. They did a lot of stop motion, they did a lot of miniature work, they played around with gravity, because, the blob is just like goo. So what they would do is they would tilt the scenery, put maybe a picture of something, or did it like that, and the slime would just naturally slide, covering the picture. And by filming it a certain way, you would see it, as it would rise above. It was a very, very good effect, and an effect that I really, really loved. Love the effect of the blob creature. But the thing that's also very good about this one is that the teenagers, the children, the no-do-gooders rally together to try to save their humble town. And they convince the adults of what's going on, and eventually they believe the teenagers. And the whole town rallies together to try to stop this blob monster. You very rarely see that. And I quite enjoyed the character. Now, some people might say that it's kind of slow and you don't see the blob monster that much, but that's actually quite a bit of the appeal. You don't see the slime monster, so when it does pop up, it's a lot more, impactful, because you see it and you're like, wow! And there's a really, really awesome scene when it's in the movie theater and it comes sliming through the ventilation, and then it eats a guy, and then it comes sliming through the projector. That's very, very cool. So, the special effects, mind-blowing. The acting, well, it's a 1950s movie. You have to accept it. It was a long ways, so the acting's not top-notch, but it is filled with good acting. Steve McQueen, of course, is the standout of the film. He's very charismatic, which, of course, led him to a very, very important career. And he's also the star of one of my other favorite Steve McQueen movies, The Towering Inferno. So, it's a good movie. Highly recommend it. But then, 30 years later, they made the remake, The Blob, released in 1988. Kind of interesting that they released on the 8th, 1958, 1988. This movie follows the same kind of beginning, where a meteorite falls into the earth, opens up, and releases a viscous blob monster. The thing is that this one, unfortunately, instead of being an alien, is actually a government experiment for a bioweapon. Because why not, I guess? So the government releases the thing because they are trying to do a bioweapon test. And they're like, this is the ultimate weapon. But, if you're gonna do that, at least figure out a way to control your damn monster. Anyway, it follows most of the plot points from the first one, but what this one does is it gives you a very, very visceral look at how the blob dissolves people. In this one, it is merely implied that the blob does it. You don't really see the blob dissolving anyone. But in this one, the 1988 one, you see the full gory effect of this acidic blob creature melting people away. Where in this one, the dissolving of the Doctor happens off screen. In this one, the main female actor sees her boyfriend being devolved, engulfed by the monster. And she's like, "I'll save you," pulls out his hand, but as the blob monster is dissolving, you can see his whole face melting away, and then his hand just falls right up. The special effects in this are amazing. I freaking love the special effects of the 1988 version. I love the 1951, but this one is gory good fun. And the monster, they do use practical effects and, of course, some miniatures. But the monster just grows into an incredibly huge beast. Change from this one to the original one is that the main female character is made to be more of a badass. Well, in the original one, the female character does her part, and she does give the cops some sass. The main actress, Steve McQueen. But in this one, she's like, oh no, you didn't, monster, I'll beat your ass. So she actually plays a more important role, because it was the 80s and women power, and I'm all for that. So, the main character, the female character, gets a more important role than she does in the original one. But never makes the original one feel stupid. It never makes fun of the original and its tropes. It just tries to update certain things. But the standout thing, again, is the special effects. It's like, this is good. This is also good. It's really, really awesome how they update it. And this was before your CGI. No, this is just good photography, miniatures, and special effects, with practical effects being the standout. It truly is visually something amazing to see. And it does, of course, follow some plot points from the first one, like they figure out that the blob is vulnerable to cold. Because in the original one, they go inside a meat locker, and the blob chases after them, but then cold goes away. Same thing happens in the 1988 remake. So this is a remake that updates some of the stuff without making fun of the original, and updates the special effects, as you should. Not, just make fun of the original like I mentioned before. It really is one of my favorite remake situations, where the original is good, and the remake is just as good as the original. It's just good fun, people. Now, I have heard for many, many years now that they are thinking of trying to remake it again. This being 2018, it would have been the perfect date to, if they were going to do it, come out with it. But I'm personally glad that they haven't made a remake of The Blob, because it would be a CGI monster thing that is just unappealing to everyone. They have really gone overboard. CGI should be used to enhance certain things that you can't physically do. Not, be the whole effect. You have to complement CGI with practical effects to make an awesome movie. But now everything's CGI and everything looks fake. Just super fake. So, the two movies complement each other very well, I feel, in my opinion. It updates certain things without making fun of the original. It pays homage to the original, in my opinion, and I love that kind of remake. So both classic movies, all in all. Now, do I think either one is better? No, I think both are equal. This is a solid A+. This is a solid A+ as well. While this one can't depend on special effects to carry the movie, it complements the special effects of The Blob with some good character development. You have your characters pushing the movie, and you have your characters coming together to fight the Blob. Where in this one, the special effects are the star, and you do get some good performances, but it doesn't reach the same level of character development as this one, with the exception of the main actress, who is the badass character in it. So, you could say that some has their faults, less special effects, more character, more special effects, less character, but all in all, I feel they complement each other very well in the end. So both get a solid A+ in my book, and both are classics of sci-fi cinema. Yes. I wanted to start with a good example of a remake. And as we move on, we will go and see other examples of good remakes against good originals, and other examples where sometimes, the remake does improve the ideas of the original. And of course, what we will see more often is that the original far surpasses the remake. So I hope you enjoy this horror versus series that I will submit to you, class. If you enjoy this idea, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all next time. This has been Zombie Wisitos. I have been Professor Macabro, and we both wish you all a good evening.